Dear children, wishing you all a happy day. Welcome to English class, and today it's a grammar class, and the word grammar is derived from a French word grammar, and the spelling goes on like this: G-R-A-M-A-I-R-E. Again, G-R-A-M-A-I-R-E. And what is grammar? Grammar is the whole system and structure of a language. It is the structural foundation of our ability to express ourselves. It's a set of rules that govern a language. It's an art by which we can read, write, speak English correctly. And who's the father of grammar? The father of grammar is English grammar is Lindley Murray. So in grammar we start with parts of speech. What are they? Noun, pronoun, verb, adjective, article. Actually it is not only, there are 8 parts of speech, but article is also added here because along with adjective, because the words a and the are special adjectives called articles, and an article is used before a noun which describes the noun. So only 8 parts of speech: noun, pronoun, verb, adjective, adverb, preposition, conjunction and interjection. So here you can see the functions of all those 8 parts of speech, and few examples also given there. You can go through that. So noun is the name of a thing or person, per place, and verb, it is an action word. Adverb, it describes a verb. Adjective, it describes a noun. Pronoun, it replaces a noun. Preposition, it links a noun to another word. Conjunction, it joins clauses or sentences, and interjections are short exclamations. And here you can see the examples given there. You can have a look at all those examples given there. Now in today's class we are going to see about conjunction and preposition also. So what is a conjunction? A conjunction is a joiner, a word that connects or conjoins parts of a sentence. It's a connecting word, clauses or sentences. So conjunctions joins 2 ideas or shows the relationship between 2 parts of a sentence. I repeat, listen carefully. Conjunctions joins 2 ideas or shows the relationship between 2 parts of a, so it joins 2 parts of a sentence. Example, I am very hungry but the fridge is empty. I am very hungry but the fridge is empty. So here but is the conjunction. It joins 2 sentences. I am very hungry, the fridge is empty. These 2 sentences are combined with the word but. Next example, she didn't speak to anyone and nobody spoke to her. So here you have 2 sentences. She didn't speak to anyone, nobody spoke to her. So these 2 sentences are combined with the word and. So now in conjunction we have 2 main types of conjunctions. That is what we are going to see in today's class: coordinating conjunctions and subordinating conjunctions. So first let us see about coordinating conjunctions. Coordinating conjunctions are also called as coordinator. It links, it joins parts of a sentence with the same status, and it could be independent clauses. That is what I have told you. So 2 main phrases, adjectives, adverbials, etc. of equal importance. So what is a coordinating conjunction? It combines 2 independent clauses. So now here coordinating conjunctions, you have a short form like there are many coordinating conjunctions. For example, for, and, nor, but, or, et, so, all those. And so there is a mnemonic, means a short form for remembering them. It is called as fanboys. F for, A for and, N for nor, B for but, O for or, Y for it, and S for so. Fanboys. You remember these? These are the coordinating conjunctions. A few, so that you can remember that. So a short form is given. Fanboys. So here examples. And what is the meaning of those words given? F, for, and, nor, but, or, et, so. Those coordinating conjunctions and how they are combined. For example, first one you can see, Sam drank some water for he was thirsty. So here for is the conjunction, and I told you it combines two independent clauses. So here two main clause, Sam drank some water, it has its own meaning. It has a complete meaning, he was thirsty. So these two sentences are combined with the word for. So it gives a reason. Next one, and I take milk and sugar in my tea. I take milk, I take sugar in my tea. So these two sentences, so these two independent clauses are combined with the word and. Likewise it goes on. All the other examples you can go through. Next one, what we are going to see is subordinating conjunctions. So what is subordinating conjunctions? Subordinating conjunctions combines a independent clause with a subordinate clause. Okay, it introduces a dependent clause and links to an independent clause. So that is what I told you. It combines a independent clause with a dependent clause. A main clause with a dependent clause. Using a subordinating conjunction to introduce a dependent clause. So to introduce another dependent clause, you use a conjunction and place a comma after a dependent clause that begins a sentence. So in a sentence, you have to use if the dependent clause comes first, then a comma is required in between. So that is what here the meaning is. If the sentence starts with a dependent clause and then a comma is required in between. And next one, what we have for here, you can see the example there. Whenever Lynn has a break, she takes a walk around the block. So here, whenever Lynn has a break, so this is a dependent clause. So since the sentence starts with a dependent clause, so once when it's over, you have to put a comma to combine the independent clause there. So few more examples you have there. These are the words, coordinating conjunction words which you have to use. A few I have given, and say examples of subordinating conjunctions. So here you can clearly see, as Sherry blew out the candles atop her birthday cake. So here the sentence starts with the with the dependent clause. So after it you have to put a comma, then start the independent clause. And in the second sentence you can see there it is vice versa. The sentence starts with the independent clause. Sarah begins to sneeze. So here you don't have a comma. So I think you understood, children. When the sentence starts with the independent clause, then you need not put a comma. But in the third sentence you see it starts with the dependent clause. When the doorbell rang. So here it is a dependent clause. So you have to put a comma, then combine the independent clause there. So I think you have understood. Next, a worksheet is given. So in the second part you can see the examples given there, and conjunction in the worksheet first part. You can see the conjunction exercises. You do it, and once when school reopens, I'll check these answers. Next one, what we are going to see is a preposition. So what is a preposition? Preposition is a word or group of words that shows the relationship of a noun or pronoun to some other word in the sentence. So it shows the relationship between a noun or a pronoun and some other word in a sentence. A preposition is always followed by an object, either a noun or a pronoun. So here I can give you an example. The girls are playing in the yard. So here the preposition is in. In shows the relationship between the girls and the yard. A preposition relates the object of the preposition, which is the noun or pronoun, following it to another word in the sentence. Simply, easy to say is it shows the relationship between a noun or a pronoun or some other word in a sentence, and it is followed by an object. Either it can be a noun or a pronoun. So for example, you can see there, Kitty is sitting on her bed. So here it shows the relationship between Kitty and bed. So Kitty is sitting. So where is she? Where is Kitty? She is sitting on her bed. So on is the preposition there. Grandpa is standing at the window. So where is Grandpa? He is standing at the window. At is the preposition there. The cat Felix is hiding behind the fridge. So cat is behind. So behind is the preposition there. So you can see the examples, few more examples given there. And parts of a day with preposition in, at, on. So these are the words used to express both the parts of a day. In the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. I like studying in the morning. They went swimming in the afternoon. In the evenings, I like to relax. And at is used. The weather gets cold at night. I will call you at noon. So it is about the time. I will see you on Monday morning. So in, at, on, all these are the prepositions. The plane arrived at the airport. Likewise, it goes on. Next one. So here I have shown you few pictures about the apple is on the box. The apple is in the box. So it tells you where it is placed. It shows the relationship between the box and the apple. So the apple is beside, it is next to the box. So you can see those examples given there. With these, it will be easy for you all to understand. So go through those, see those pictures and understand. And now here you can see the man is inside the car. And between the trees, it's flying after. Likewise, you can see the pictures over there and proportions of time. In the afternoon, already I have told you, in the afternoon, on Fridays, at the dusk. So these are the proportions of time and proportions of place. Behind, the dogs are behind the postman. So behind is the proportion of place. The dog is in front of the man. So in front of is a proportion of place. The dog is next to the bones. The dog is beside the bones. The bone is between the dogs. So between is the proportion. So just go through all that. Have a look at all those proportions of movement from one place to another. To, towards, through, across, over, along, in, on, into. So all these and the examples also go through. So you will know when to use all. So now to end up, home assignment. I think you all remember you have a class test on Tuesday 11/8/2020. The lesson A Wrong Man in Workers' Paradise, and your class test will be conducted on Tuesday. So don't forget, remember that. And for the homework, what you have to do is page number 14, first lesson, page number 14 in your English reader, see me. That is only the preposition, just do it and post it in your, for the homework. Okay, thank you.